Yes, I became interested in sailing because I didn't have too much choice. My dad sailed. He was, and is, a good sailor, so I would often see him winning club events or provincial events in South Africa. My mother was heavily involved in sailing, so I got dragged down to the sailing club from an early age. Then later on I would see my dad, and especially in the 80s, winning these prizes that looked quite inviting to me, and I thought, hey, maybe if I sail I can win some of these prizes too. But it was probably only sort of 13, 14 that I really started to get actively involved in events and doing fairly well. So I remember my first event that I won as a junior was 14 years old in South Africa at a place called Sedgefield. So competitively sailing as an adult, it was one of the reasons that encouraged me to come over to the UK, being close to Europe. During 2008, I went to my first World Championships in the Musto Performance skiff and surprised myself by doing fairly well. So for the World Championships itself, a couple of days beforehand, I had a warm-up event that I managed to win. And I had a reasonable first day, but not brilliant. And the second day, we got some fog, which was quite entertaining in the racing, where you can't actually see where you're meant to be going. And the race after that, I managed to capsize in the very beginning of the race, which I shouldn't be doing, and not at that level when you're sailing World Championships. So luckily, the wind picked up a bit. I got some slightly better results, and slowly I started working my way up the leader table, if you like, until it was only in the very last race that we sailed that I actually managed to take the lead.
Musto World Champion 2012. What are you thinking? Oh, brilliant.
And it was just kind of disbelief, really, because after my first couple of days of sailing at the Worlds, I thought there was no chance that I was going to win it. My scariest moment on the sea would have been off Cape Point near Cape Town, South Africa. There were 4 of us delivering a boat on what should have been an easy routine voyage, but things got misplanned, and we ended up being a lot later than it should have been, rounding Cape Point in the dark with very strong winds. Was fairly scary, especially with big waves. And if I remember correctly, I was the only one who wasn't seasick on the boat. So 3 other people who kind of were sort of incapacitated, and me being the only one left to sail the boat was a fairly challenging moment. My faith gives me perspective for my sailing events, because I know that win or lose, really it's irrelevant to God's plan for us and the other things that happen in this world, that it is just a boat race after all. The most important thing I would want my children to learn is to trust Jesus in all situations.